Hello there. I want to show you how to add some extra data to your enums. I'm going to show you this within Unity, but this isn't just a pure Unity thing. You can use this with any kind of C# application. So what I have here is an enum, and it's just a list of names. As you can see here, these represent pickups in a game. And if I select like gridboard and show attribute data, I've got two bits of data that are coming out of this. One is a title, that's gridboard, and another is just a description text for it. And if we go to something like electric battery 00 and do the same again, you can see the electric battery is on 0%. Now if I clear this and just do 75% and do it again, you can see my title is electric battery at 75% and then extra descriptive text. Now this is achieved by using attributes in the code. As you can see here, for all the enums that we have, I've got a title and a description. And this allows us to add different data in several different ways, and this is all achieved through attributes. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Right, I've reset my Unity project, so this button now does nothing. I'm going to show you adding these attributes onto the enum system as you can for your own projects. You can see here this show attribute data does nothing now, and that's what the button click is doing. If we go to my pickups, I've had to comment out the title because I've removed it from the system, and it's re-adding this that I want to demonstrate. Description is already in the system, and if you follow along with what I'm doing with title, you'll actually understand the whole process. And I'll actually show you how to access the description as well. So let's bring title back in. It should turn red because it doesn't exist, and that's expected. So what we first need to do is add the title as an attribute. Typically, I'll add this as a folder called attributes, but for this I'm just going to place it in here. So you can do this from Visual Studio or Unity. I'm just doing it from Visual Studio because it's easier here. Just give me an empty C# file. I'm just going to copy my namespace over, just so everything is under the same namespace. It's easier to follow. So what we now need to do is tell the Visual Studio that we want to add this title attribute. So we can define a new class called tile attribute. It's traditional to have the word attribute on the end of this, and Visual Studio knows to just take that title part and use it as the attribute, so you don't need to use title attribute on all of the places you're going to use it. And this is terribly simple because it's just one line of text that we're storing. We can do that on the constructor. So the constructor takes the title and we want to store it as, in this case, title, which is public accessible, and we have that stored here as a getter and setter. The other thing we'll need to do is just mark it as an attribute usage, and ironically, to do this you use an attribute. So it's telling the system this is an attribute, use it as such. So if I save that and go back to our pickups list, you can see title is now usable. Let's just bring all these back so I don't miss any. Totally exciting, I know. Now this still does nothing because we're not using it within the system yet. So in my show enum thing, I want to get the information, and in order to do that I've got a helper class. So so let's go to that helper class now. Ignore this, this is a description. We want to get the title, so public static string, and we're going to call it get title. Let's get enum title, which is what I have above. Now we want to tell it to use an enum, but we don't have to set it as the enum that we have. This is generic, so it says any enum. And as you can see here, we're using system.enum with value. So it's red because it doesn't know what to return yet, so we're going to fix that. So the first two bits we're going to do here, let's bring this down. So we're getting the field information from the enums. So this is basically going through the list of all the enums that we're given it. In this case it will be my pickups items enum. It goes through that and it's got the information associated with it. And then the next thing it does, it goes through and finds all of the attributes of the type we're looking for. And in that case, it's title attribute. And then we can just make sure we get the title from the existing attribute. We can do this by checking first of all, well, do we have some attributes? It's not null, that's fine. And then just check that we have any. And in this case, I'm just taking the first one. You could use first or default or whichever you prefer. It's just accessing an array and making sure that we have one, and that's all it's doing. And then as a failsafe, I'm just going to return back the original value as a string. It's just so we're not returning null and it can still display something. So this will take the enum we're interested in, get its field information about that, retrieve the attributes we're interested in, and then it retrieves the the title from that, which is what we define in the actual attribute you can see here. So if we go back to our show enums, we want to say, well, get me the title. And like I said, I've got this helper class where we store that code. So that's enum helper in this case. And we want to get enum title, provided that pick up items that we've got there. And the next thing we need to do is just debug log title. In fact, let's wrap this up a little bit more. Pop that in there. So, and that should bring us the title back. So if we go back over to to Unity, sorry, let that load. So let's select Power Grid, select that, we have Power Grid. And then if we go down here, select battery 100, it gives us battery at 100%. So that's how to access those enumerations. And so the title attribute we had to add ourselves, but this description one is already in the system. So if you wanted to use that, if we go back to my helper class where it already lives, you can say just get a description attribute. Remember, it always has the word attribute on the end, and it's taking that field, which is description. And obviously you can press F12 and have a look at this. So it's doing basically what we had, where it's storing the description value in this case, and so we can access it later. So that's how to enhance your enums. Obviously this has a lot of uses for in-game data, and like I said earlier, this isn't just a Unity thing, this works with .NET Framework and .NET Core, so you can use it in any C# project you wish. Thank you for watching.